Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing a combined 11 between the USA and Wales, since Wales did just beat Ukraine to lock in their spot of Group B at the World Cup. I thought this would be a really fun way to compare teams, going player by player, position by position, in a 4-3-3 formation. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into things. Alright guys, so in past videos when I do things kind of like this, I always start with the goalkeeper and then move up to striker. So I thought this time let's start with the striker and move down to the goalkeeper. So as you can see, the USA representative is Jordan Pefok and the Wales representative is Kiefer Moore. Now Pefok, the number 9 position, is obviously still very open for the USA. However, going ahead of the World Cup and when all these guys are fully fit, I think Jordan Pefok is the starter for the USA, at least for me right now. Like I said, that's still very open against Kiefer Moore. Kiefer Moore, he does play in the championship. He's not in the Premier League or like a first tier division. However, he does have more of a place in his squad. He's very consistent and with the Wales team, which is something that you have to include for this international play. And for that reason, the striker in the combined 11 is going to be Kiefer Moore from Wales. Next, we have the left winger position. Obviously, representing the USA is Christian Pulisic, and Daniel James could represent at striker. However, there would have been no one else to really go with the left wing, and I was trying to make this the best 11 for Wales as possible. So Daniel James on Leeds, he's going to be a teammate with Brendan Aronson next year. He did get a lot more playing time with Leeds this last year because of Bamford's injury. However, James is definitely not better than Pulisic. So Pulisic, go ahead and be my left wing for the combined 11. Then we have the right winger, Timothy Weah, representing USA, versus Gareth Bale, representing Wales. Now, this one is another pretty obvious one. Obviously, Bale is the only world-class player, or at least was a world-class player, out of these whole two lineups as a whole. Gareth Bale obviously used to be great for Tottenham, great for Real Madrid. He isn't the same player he used to be, but he is still Gareth Bale, and so he is going to be my right winger for this. So we have 2 to Wales, 1 to USA. Then moving on to the attacking mid, I went ahead and gone with Giovanni Reyna because when he is healthy, I do believe he's our best attacking mid against Brennan Johnson. Now, this one's pretty easy. Even though Giovanni Reyna is only 19 years old, I do think he is the better attacking mid, as Brennan Johnson is still only a second-tier player playing in the championship. And when Giovanni is healthy, he is one of the best teenagers in the whole world. So now it's tied 2 to 2. 2 from USA being Pulisic and Reyna, and 2 from Wales being Moore and Gareth Bale. Then moving on to the central mid, we actually have 2 guys who play the same position for the same team, right? Weston McKennie, 23-year-old from Juventus, and Aaron Ramsey, 31-year-old from Juventus as well. Now, not only did Weston McKennie break into the Juventus squad a few years back and take Ramsey's position then, but he also does it for this combined 11 squad. 3 for USA, 2 for Wales, and this whole video it is going to be very tight. Then we have our defensive mid, Tyler Adams going against Ethan Ampadu. I'm not sure if I said that correctly. Now, Tyler Adams, in the past, he was definitely in a lot better form, a lot better player overall. Ethan Ampadu plays for Venezia, and although they're getting relegated, he's also had time in the Premier League, and he was Venezia's best player this last season. Now, as much as this hurts me, I am going to go with Ethan Ampadu. I don't know why I keep butchering that name, but he is going to be the defensive mid for this squad. Like I said, Tyler Adams, obviously my boy. I really like him, but I think because his dip in form recently and the way Ethan Ampadu has been playing, I'm going to slot him into this. So now it's 3 for USA, 3 for Wales. Next, we're going to start with our defenders now. Left back, Anthony Robinson from Fulham going up against Ben Davies from Tottenham. Now, Anthony Robinson is obviously going to be a Premier League player next season, as Fulham did just win the championship and get promoted to the Premier League. And I know Ben Davies doesn't play as much as he used to, but he still solidified his spot for Wales, and he is a Premier League player when called upon. Now, maybe Anthony Robinson, keep starting in the Premier League, and this could change. But for right now and going into the World Cup, I do think Ben Davies is probably the better left back. So now we see Wales take the lead 4 to 3 over the USA. Now, going into our center back on the left side, John Brooks, although Greg Berhalter doesn't call him up, he is our best defender, in my opinion, and I have him starting on the left side for the USA in this combined 11, going up against Joe Rodon, 24-year-old for Tottenham. Now, Joe Rodon is obviously a Tottenham player, kind of like Ben Davies. He does not play. I want to say he maybe played 2 or 3 games for the whole season for Tottenham over this last year, whereas John Brooks is the only player out of both squads in this combined 11, so the total of the 22 players, to have World Cup experience. And for that reason, and because he's a regular starter in the Bundesliga, I'm giving this one to John Anthony Brooks. He's going to be the left center back in this combined 11. Then moving on over to the right center back side, we have Chris Richards going up against Chris Meffam. Now, this one is pretty close. 22-year-old Chris Richards obviously might be set to play with Bayern Munich next year as he keeps getting loaned out of there, but it might finally be his season where Bayern Munich gives him a chance. Chris Meffam, AFC Bournemouth, obviously another one of the Wales guys who isn't in the Premier League yet and is in the second tier. However, Chris Meffam has played way more games with Wales and is just more solidified with that team. And because this is the nation side, I would love to give it to Chris Richards. I think individually he is better. However, he hasn't played a whole lot with USA. And for that reason, I'm going to give this one to Wales. So now Wales is leading 5-4. And like I said, that one really hurt me. I think that could swing both ways. Chris Richards could definitely be the guy there. But I am going to give it to Meffam because of his nation's play with Wales, and that's obviously the biggest factor when breaking down sides like USA versus Wales. Their national play is going to be the biggest factor. Here we have, moving over to the right back spot, Serginho Dest for USA going up against Nico Williams of Wales. Obviously, Nico Williams is a Liverpool player. However, he really doesn't get that many minutes, and Serginho Dest is a very important player for Barcelona when he is healthy. I think he's definitely the better right back out of these two. And for that reason, I'm going to give this one to Serginho Dest. It's all tied up, 5-5. Going into the goalkeeper position, we have Matt Turner, who I picked to represent USA. I know there's a couple guys you could throw in here. You have guys like Zach Steffen, Sean Johnson, Ethan Horvath. However, going into the World Cup, and the best overall keeper I think we have at the moment is Matt Turner. So I'm going to have Matt Turner between the sticks for the USA going up against Wayne Hennessy for Wales. And although Wayne Hennessy is a Premier League goalkeeper, he's another one of these guys who really only had 2 or 3 games for Burnley this last season. And Matt Turner is going to be moving to Arsenal, where he might be able to look for about 2 or 3 games. Honestly, I don't see him playing that much for Arsenal in the Premier League. However, over his span of his career, Hennessy has played 183 Premier League games. He's an experienced veteran and very important to the Wales squad. So I am going to give the goalkeeper position to Wales. Now, this one does hurt me a little bit. Obviously, there were a couple players that could go either way. So in this combined 11, Wales does win 6-5. Now, I try to keep this as unbiased as possible. Obviously, other people are going to have their opinions too. I think Chris Richards could have maybe started at the right center back, and I think Tyler Adams could have maybe started at the defensive mid. So there were a few chances for USA players to get in here, and maybe someone else would have changed those 2 spots. But overall, trying to keep this as unbiased as possible, I do think Wales just has the upper hand, winning 6-5 in the starting 11. Okay, guys, so that is the way I see a combined 11 between the USA and Wales. Now, this does not mean that I think Wales is a better team. It's just the way this video is broken down. When everyone is healthy, Wales has about 6 better starters, and we have 5 better starters than them. Obviously, it is going to be a very close game, I think, in the World Cup between 2 really good teams, between us and Wales. Now, that is going to be the first game of the group, and to me, that is going to be the most important game of the group stage. I think we will probably know if one of those teams is able to get the 3 points over the other in the first game of the World Cup, who is going to get out of that group, because I don't think either of them are likely to beat England, and so I see England winning, and then if one of those teams is able to get the 3 points, I think they will be the second best team. Now, with that being said, this is obviously a new video idea. I haven't really done something like this before. If you'd like to see something like this again, or maybe a different team idea, go ahead and drop that in the comments. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed, as we ride this road out to Qatar. And with that being said, I appreciate everyone for watching. Have a good one.